kicking back on this summer breeze. Welcome to Double K's Classroom. Class is officially in session.
The following Four Aces production is for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is highly advised.
Don't wanna be an American idiot. All right. That was a great way to kick off this week's classroom with our artist of the week, the Mr. Billy, I believe Joel, and Green Day, not Billy Joel, the older singer. I believe Billy Joe was his name and lead singer for Green Day, but that was their song, American Idiot, that to me has a lot more of an impact today than it did even back in the day when it first came out. This was a very impactful album in the sense of just making people realize exactly what's going on in America and what happens in America even to this day. But needless to say, I want to open up the show to saying my congrats to the 7, yes, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Pac-12 teams that made it into the NCAA tournament. Today is Friday, or this airs on Friday. It's pre-recorded, y'all. That's why y'all can't call in or chat. It's all pre-recorded. But at this point, nobody has played. The playing games are barely being played. So all 7 teams are still alive. By the time this goes on air, 1 or 2 may have fell off. The number 1 seed in the West went to the Oregon Ducks, who won the Pac-12 championship this year. So I have to give them credit. The regular season championship, I don't know if they won the conference tournament. I didn't keep track of that, but congratulations to them on getting a 1 seed. I would have to assume that they won the Pac-12 tournament in order to get a 1 seed. California ended up a 4 seed in the same bracket as Kansas, looking at a Sweet 16 matchup there if California can make it through the first 2 rounds. That we will have to see. Cal is a favorite by Dickie V to make it to the Final Four, so we'll see if California can live up and head coach, I believe I love saying his name, Quenzel Martin. If he can take Cal as far as Dickie V and a lot of the other guys, the experts, say that he can. Now I'm going to move along here because I got a lot to talk about on this episode to NFL free agency and the differences of what's happening with NFL free agency on both sides of the bay. On the what can be considered south side of the bay, where in Santa Clara, where the Niners headquarters is, they're virtually doing nothing over there. They've re-signed Ian Williams, which was a huge pickup. He was a top free agent that they needed to re-sign and come back to the team in order to solidify the middle of that line. But they also went out and signed nobody basically at this point. They haven't even re-signed Anquan Bolden. They re-signed Sean Drawn, the running back. They've re-signed Phil Dawson, the kicker. These are players that will make a difference overall, but with the big name free agents that were out there and $60 million underneath the cap, you would think that the team should have a bigger story than Colin Kaepernick and whether or not they're going to trade him or get rid of him or keep him or what they're going to do with him. Now it's the Broncos, the Browns, and the Jets are in the hunt. The Broncos say Cap's not worth anything more than a 4th-round pick, which is part of the reason why I come to a rush conclusion, but to a conclusion nonetheless that Cap will be a 49er next season. It sounds like a bold prediction, but I don't believe it is. I believe that it's very feasible considering that Balky and York went out and got Chip Kelly for Colin Kaepernick. Kaepernick was a kid that lacked direction last year, could not hold his starting job, lost it mid-season to Blaine Gabbert, and the kid just didn't flow for him. And so they went out and got him a head coach in which it should flow for him, and now he wants out of town. That's another part of my suspicion with the Niners situation is that none of these reports are coming directly from Colin Kaepernick. They're all coming as side reports from people who are close to the situation or from Colin Kaepernick's agents that he wants out. the one thing that everybody seems to forget when they're predicting landing spots for Colin Kaepernick is that the 49ers hold all the cards. They don't necessarily have to let Colin Kaepernick go. They have a coach that wants to work with him. They can force him to stick around through at least the preseason before they move him. And by that point, all your top starting positions and most of the NFL teams will have already been started. So at best, he can hope for a backup position. So it's a dangerous game if this is Kaepernick's doing. It's a dangerous game that he plays when he walks around and demands trades and so on and so forth, when he has to realize that he's on a team-friendly contract, so the team doesn't really have to let him go. Even though they did pick up their most insignificant signing, but who may make a major impact if Colin Kaepernick does not say he holds out or say he does end up eventually getting traded. Thad Lewis. He knows Chip Kelly's system. He was in it last season at Philadelphia, and the kid can make an impact. I believe there was a couple of games in Buffalo where he made a slight impact. So you want to keep an eye out for him, Thad Lewis. But I think Colin Kaepernick will enjoy running this offense once he actually gets into it. And unless Denver's willing to bring that 4th round pick up to a number 2 pick, or Cleveland's or 2nd round pick, or Cleveland's willing to give up their 2nd round pick, or possibly do a situation where they are swapping the 7 and the 2 picks with Kaepernick going to the Browns, that's a situation that can work for both teams, but that's the only way I really see it working. The Niners will most likely look at a Carson Wentz or Jared Goff in the recent or in the future days in the draft to potentially be a winner down the road. But for right now, I think Colin Kaepernick will end up being a 49er next season, whether he likes it or not. So tough rocks, kid. You may have to pull an RG3 and even sit on the bench for a season before you end up really being able to get cut and move on and do you. Right now, you owe the Niners at least a season with the way you regressed, and you have an awesome system to work in. Let's instead of taking it in a negative tone, let's go ahead and look at it in a positive. You have an awesome offense to work with. You have Torrey Smith, Bruce Ellington. They could potentially get Treadwell, that kid out of Ole Miss, in the draft, or another wide receiver. There's multiple ones out there. They could sign another wide receiver. They could re-sign Anquan Bolden and bring you back one of your reliable targets. They already brought back Brent Selleck, and it would just be sad to see you go from something that could and should be such a prime opportunity for you to shine as the player that we know you are, Cap. So please, if you by any chance are listening to this, stick around, see what you can do. There's a lot of even defensive coordinators who've come out and said that it would be a scary thought of Colin Kaepernick running Chip Kelly's offense, Chip Kelly's like running gun style offense. So Cap, stick around. That's my final word on that. But the Raiders across the bay doing big things. They went out and signed. They fell short of one target that they wanted, and that was Eric Weddle. He went bye-bye to Baltimore along with Mike Wallace, so that was a surprise. But he went on ahead and signed himself Bruce Irvin, a solid linebacker. Definitely didn't have a great year last year for Seattle, but somebody that can make an impact in a defense that he's familiar with, being that the defensive coordinator for the Raiders is a former Seattle defensive coordinator, or is Mike Singletary, I believe. But anyway, needless to say, the Raiders' defensive scheme fits Bruce Irvin well. Him and Khalil Mack, you add Aldon Smith. Hopefully the Raiders will be able to re-sign him after his suspension. And you're talking about one of the most formidable pass rushing trios since the big three of the New York Giants. So big time things being done over there in Oakland. They went out and got themselves a franchise corner, in my opinion, in Sean Smith. I don't necessarily think it completely solves all of their cornerback problems, being that they didn't get Weddle, the safety. So they still have that spot available now that Charles Woodson, God rest his soul, great man, has retired. Not God rest his soul because he's not dead. He's just retired. but it's God rest his football soul, because it's sad to see him go, and we all know that's the truth. But anyway, Woodson gone, so they need to replace him, and they re-signed Nate Allen, the safety Nate Allen, but they still need some safety help, and they could probably use another corner or two. DJ Hayden, maybe give him I saw a quote from Mr. Suave the other day from West Coast Bias on Facebook, speaking with O'Malley, talking about giving DJ Hayden a shot at safety, and I could see that would be a good move for them to be able to give him a shot there. But I think the Raiders have done big things to put together a solid defense, which evidently they felt was the part of the team that let them down to an extent last year. Not that the defense was bad at all, but just that the defense let them down, in the sense that there were games that they feel like they could have won had the defense have made stops, and there will be Raiders fans out there that will probably tell you that's true. But when I look at it overall, I think that the moves that they made give them a B+ in free agency so far, and I can't wait to see what they do with the draft, picking at number 14. If Reggie McKenzie continues to do what he's doing, he may build himself a Super Bowl champion in Oakland the same way he did in Green Bay. So congratulations to the team from across the bay. I got nothing but love for him. Even as a 49er fan, I got nothing but love to see a team that recently has not necessarily been at its best getting to its best. But I do caution Raiders fans to predict playoffs and or Super Bowl at this point. Allow the team to come together, allow the team to gel. I could probably see them winning a Super Bowl, maybe 2 in the next 4 to 5 years, but I don't necessarily think next year will be their year either. So just be patient. It takes a little bit to stir the pot and to get the soup exactly to the right temperature. Now, moving on from that, NFL free agency in general had a lot of surprises. The biggest surprise of all being Brock Osweiler. Brock went on ahead and jumped himself right on over to the Houston Texans for a little bit more money, leaving the Denver Broncos with 0 quarterbacks on their roster, or 1 quarterback that was drafted, I believe, in the 7th round last year on their roster. And so they went out and got themselves Mark Sanchez, and they're looking to try to get themselves Colin Kaepernick. Sanchez, I think, is somebody that can come in and help out. I think he can manage a game well enough that he's learned throughout his years so far that he can manage a game well enough to be able to win some games for Denver, possibly make them contenders for the AFC West title, which so many Raiders fans seem to think is a lock for them. I think even with Sanchez, with that defense being pretty much intact, minus Trevathan and Jackson, who were big pieces, but were not the whole defense, I believe that they can get the job done if Sanchez could just be a game manager, be Alex Smith. It's not a bad word, at least not to me. So, guys, if you get a chance to go somewhere like Brock Osweiler did, you don't always have to take your chance, because sometimes you're passing up better opportunities. As much as I love that defense in Houston, I think that defense in Denver is just as good and could do just as much damage. But we'll see if Brock Osweiler made the right or wrong choice in the coming years, because he's got 4 years in Houston. He's got like $80-something million to collect. But some interesting free agents are still left out there on the market. Veteran defensive lineman Chris Long is still left out there, along with John Laurinaitis. They're still visiting people. RG3 is still left out there. Mike Wallace, like I just recently mentioned earlier, just recently signed with the Ravens. There's been a couple of people here and there being snacked up, but some of the big names are still floating out there. So that's my hint to the 49ers to try to go out there and get some people. I think Laurinaitis would be a good pickup. I think both of him and Long, even though I've heard from some people that Long would not want to run in a rotational defensive line, I think at this point in his career, if it meant playing, I think he may be willing to do it. So for now, guys, that's going to be it for me on the NFL subject. When we come back from break for my lesson of the day, I'm going to talk a little bit about just tune in and see. This is Double K's Classroom, right here on the 4 Aces Network, Spreaker.com.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy Cole from Planet of Cole and the Raw Impact Unleashed for 4 Aces Presents. Now, I'm going to do a little rundown for the weekly shows we got coming up. Monday, we got Now vs. Then from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. That's Pacific Standard Time. All of these are Pacific Standard Time. Tuesday, iRock Radio from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Also Tuesday, The Sidebar, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Wednesday, Hip Talk Radio from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Also on Wednesday, we got Now vs. Then West from 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. Getting a little late for y'all peeps on the East Coast. Now Thursday, we got the Raw Impact Unleashed with yours truly and Kevin Kendrick, double K. That's from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. So y'all check out our weekly shows and holla at your boy. Take it easy.
Tune in, folks. It's now time for Double K's Lesson of the Day.
All right, guys. So I'm going to get a little political on you again. Before I got political on you, and I kind of tried to talk about this or talk about that. This time I'm going to just kind of shoot from the hip here. I haven't really had a chance to watch a lot of the debates. I go back and watch them as the time goes on, and November comes a little bit closer when it comes time to make a final choice for who I'm going to vote for, because I always cast my vote. That's the hugest thing, guys. Like, as much as people may want to say, oh, well, you know, I'm not really tripping, I'm not going to vote because I don't like any of the candidates, so I'm just going to keep my vote. Well, I believe in the saying, and I believe that it's true, that a non-vote is a vote for the candidate that you least want to win. So in this case, a non-vote is a vote for Donald Trump. So I will be voting, but as for who, don't know. But definitely won't be casting my vote for Trump. I think the man's a jackass. I definitely don't think that he deserves to be president, and I think that he's fooling a large generation of people into trying to hate each other. The man is getting an entire group of people to hate each other, and it's just weird. And yeah, people say, oh, well, the hate was there before. He's just kind of lighting the fire. But yeah, exactly. He's lighting the fire without thought, without reason. It's not by accident. This is a cold, calculated man. And he is doing what he's doing on purpose. He knows that he can win a presidential race by doing exactly what he's doing, or at least win a presidential nomination. So what I don't get, and what I would ask Trump supporters is, despite the man being able to talk a good game, I can't take anything away from him there. He can talk a good game about how he wants to make America great again. But how do you look past the racism? How do you look past, yes, it's racism. If you think that Trump only wants illegal immigrants out, or he's going to stop there, let him get all the illegal immigrants out. Okay, then what? Then who will he turn to? Then who will he use to scare you? Once all the immigrants are gone, which means half of his wives are gone, which I can almost understand why he all of a sudden wants to get rid of all illegal immigrants, because then maybe he doesn't have to pay as much in alimony. But okay, moving on. Then who? Then does it become the blacks, maybe? The other Latinos that are legally here, Muslims, those seem to be a favorite target of his. But understand, there will be another race, another sector, another person or type of person that Trump will want to get rid of. There's a method to his madness, and you don't see it because people want to be blinded by being smart enough to understand politics. But I understand what he's saying, so that means I understand politics. So therefore, I understand Mr. Trump, and I'm going to vote for him. You're guys, be very careful what you do with that vote. Be very, very careful what you do with that vote. 8 years ago, I believe America made a smart choice, despite the man's flaws, despite the negative things that he has done. And to me, the positive of his presidency far outweighs the negativeness or the negativity or the negative things that he's done. Unlike presidents before him, whose drains on this country far outweigh anything or the good that they did, not because of who they are, but because of what it was. But needless to say, looking forward to 2016, November, I can tell you this, I'm not looking forward to that day when I got to sit there and look at a shiny turd and a douchebag and make a decision between the two. For those of you who don't get that, that's a reference to South Park. And look it up on YouTube, the douchebag and shiny turd episode. But yeah, needless to say, it's all about that, guys. And if you don't get that, then maybe you don't need to have a vote. It sucks to say that because I believe every American deserves a vote. But some of these people, like, really, this is who you choose to throw your hard-earned vote behind. Well, that's about as political as I can get for right now. I really don't feel like talking about it anymore. So we're going to listen to some more of this Green Day. Guys, enjoy. See you on the other side of the commercial break. And we'll talk a little Warriors basketball. That's been my lesson of the day. Peace.
I walk a lonely road, the only one that I have ever known. Don't know where it goes, but it's home to me and I walk alone. I walk this empty street on the boulevard of broken dreams, where the city sleeps and I'm the only one and I walk alone. Sometimes I wish someone up there will find me. Till then I walk alone. I'm walking down the line that divides me somewhere in my mind, on the borderline of the edge and where I walk alone. Read between the lines, what's fucked up and everything's alright. Check my vital signs and know I'm still alive and I walk alone. I walk alone, I walk alone. I walk alone, I walk up. My shadow's only one that walks beside me. My shallow heart's the only thing that's beating. Sometimes I wish someone up there will find me. Till then I walk alone. I walk alone, I walk alone. I walk this empty street on the boulevard of broken dreams, where the city sleeps and I'm the only one. And I walk up, my shadow's the only one that walks beside me. My shallow heart's the only thing that's beating. Sometimes I wish someone out there will find me. Till then I walk alone.
Tune in, folks. It's now time for Double K's Lesson of the Day.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy Cole from the Raw Impact Unleashed and Planet of Cole. Just throwing out there the lineup for the weekend for Four Aces Presents here on Spreaker.com. Fridays we got Raporia Presents, or Raporia Presents, 2 p.m., 4 p.m. Pacific. All these are specific standard times. Now versus then Deuce from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. That is going to be a monthly show. We also have Revolving Door Fridays with K Double's classroom, or Double K's classroom. Also splitting it up with Planet of Cole. Those shows are from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Saturday we got WTF from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. And also on Saturday we have the Troll Gazer Gaming Project featuring James Brower from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. And on Sunday we cap off the week with West Coast Bias from 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. And remember, all these are Pacific Standard Time. So check all these shows out and holla at your boy. Y'all take it easy.
All right, and we are back. And as I promised you, we are about to talk some Warriors basketball. For those of you that have been paying attention, the Warriors just recently won their 60th game. This team was at the time 60-6 at the time that they won that 60th game, fastest to 60 in NBA history. This team, every game that it wins, every time that it hits a three-pointer, every time that Steph Curry hits a three-pointer, they are setting records. They have won 49 consecutive games at home. I know I sound like a hype man for the Warriors, but if you can't be a hype man for this team, then you can't be a hype man at all. They get it done in every sense of the word. They are down Andre Iguodala right now, and for the next 5 or 6 games, we talked about this on West Coast Bias, and that they will be struggling against some of the better teams. Like tomorrow night, they face the San Antonio Spurs and look to end the Spurs' home winning streak at, I believe, 33 consecutive games, 32, somewhere around there. So when you think about that, when would be the last time we had 2 teams this damn good in the same season? I've asked that question many times, and I can't seem to get a straight answer because nobody can tell me when was the last time we saw 2 teams in the same conference this good. The NBA Finals will take place during the Western Conference Finals, and the winner of the Western Conference Finals might as well be crowned NBA champ. Now, people on LeBron James' camp, people in the West Eastern Conference might say, hold up. We got a shot, damn it. We got a puncher's chance. Well, shit, my daughter got a puncher's chance against Muhammad Ali, but that don't mean I'm going to let her stand out there. Nah, my daughter ain't even got a puncher's chance against Muhammad Ali. Shit, I ain't got a puncher's chance against Muhammad Ali. But in the end, puncher's chance don't mean shit. Real talk, the Warriors or the Spurs, whoever wins that Western Conference Finals, if it comes down to those two, if the Spurs don't hiccup or the Warriors don't hiccup before that, it's going to be epic. And when I say epic, I mean it is going to be blow your fucking mind epic watching these two teams go at it. And I will be highly surprised if it's not a 7-game series. Only way I change my tune is if the Warriors win tomorrow night and then the 2 other times that they have to face the Spurs, once in San Antonio and once at home throughout the rest of the season. Which means that if the Warriors do, understand this, folks, if the Warriors do end up breaking San Antonio's record and sending them on their way, that San Antonio will have the chance, as far as their home record undefeated streak, San Antonio will have the chance to snap the Warriors' undefeated streak at home as well. It will be one of those type of things that will just make you wow. That's all he can say is just wow. The Warriors are a spectacular team. If they can win all 4 against the Spurs, I think that'll demoralize them enough for the Warriors to be able to put the Spurs away in about 5 in an actual playoff series. Now, Greg Popovich himself has said he can't figure the Warriors out. Shit, I enjoy watching them. I try to watch every Warriors game that comes on, and I can tell you this. The Warriors are a team that is to be reckoned with. Okay? It's a team that can be reckoned with because they are a team that is so damn deep at every single position. If Steph's out, Sean Livingston can come in and get the job done necessary. He ain't putting up 50, but he might put up 25, 30, easy. You give him a full game, a full 35, 40 minutes to work with. But Steph's going to be there. Steph's been there, hurt or not. And Steph's putting up 25, 30, hopefully about to win his 2nd consecutive MVP. If Steph doesn't win the MVP this season, that in itself will be a tragedy. Understand that, guys. If Steph Curry does not win the MVP this year, that in itself will be a tragedy. But I would love more than anything else to see all the Warriors get all 3, hit the trifecta, 73 wins, NBA championship, Curry is MVP. Then let's get to talking, guys, because we're talking about back-to-back championships for this Warriors team that's not getting any younger, but still has many years ahead of them. And if they do, guys, if they do win back-to-back, do guys like Iguodala, Livingston, Barbosa, do they retire? And if so, who does the Warriors replace them with? These are all questions that will be answered in June, guys. For right now, let's just enjoy this ride that we're on. Old folks, shut your mouths. Nobody cares what you have to say anymore. Nah, real talk, like, old guys, like, realize that it's just a different time and a different place. And you guys will have your day. And go A's for this upcoming season. And go Cal Bears for this upcoming weekend. Well, fuck it. Go Cal Bears all the time. And like I said about 10 or 15 times on West Coast Bias, fuck UFC. Or not UFC, sorry. Didn't mean that, Dana White. My bad. Holla. No. Fuck USC. And they can kiss my ass. So y'all have a great night. This has been Double K right in your ear, giving you that good sports knowledge. I'll catch y'all again in 2 weeks. We'll play this last heartbreaking Green Bay song. Green Day. I keep saying Green Bay. That's why I'm in football mode. Football. Green Day song should be Wake Me Up When September Ends. And then I'll be out. So let me call it right now, guys, before I put this good music in your ear. Class is dismissed.
Summer has come and passed. The innocent can never last. Wake me up when September ends. Like my father's come to pass. 7 years has gone so fast. Wake me up when September ends. Here comes the drenched in my pain again, becoming who we are. As my memory rests, but never forgets what I lost. Wake me up when September ends. What I lost. Wake me up when September ends. Summer has come and passed. The innocent can't